How's it going, you guys? Welcome to another coaching call. We're going to be going over any of your guys' questions. We'll first start in the online academy. I'll start answering people there. And then as the live goes on, you guys can, post your questions in the chat and I'll answer them as we go. One of the topics that's being brought up a couple times in the online academy is the fact that drilling is overrated. So for a long time, coaches have been teaching to get as many repetitions as possible. And that's what I learned when I was first starting wrestling. Get the reps again and again and again. Do as many as you can. Do them as fast as you can. And that does get you good, but not as quickly as mixing drilling with sparring. People use different terms for it, but essentially mixing drilling with trying the techniques with live resistance. So yes, you need to learn the double leg movement and how to hit the move correctly. But after you have the move drilled maybe 50, 100 times, you've done it for a couple weeks, you understand the technique, you need to very quickly go into doing the move with resistance so that you can see what areas you need to work in. Maybe your head positioning is off. Maybe you're not stepping deep enough. Maybe your finishes are bad. It's very hard to tell if your partner doesn't give you any resistance. How's it going, Lakshai? Probably said your name wrong, but so make sure you guys, when you're out there training, you're drilling your techniques, you're not spending an hour just hitting reps. You're doing them with resistance. You're feeling the positions out. You're trying to figure out the areas you need to improve on, not just seeing how many reps you can get in. So, that's kind of the balance of drilling versus repetition. But I do think drilling is important. I think you don't want to go the whole end where you don't ever drill. Getting a lot of reps helps with muscle memory, I believe, and helps you with the speed of your shots. But you just need a lot of feel of what actually would happen in a match. Okay. Yeah, and this is one of the Chuck's talking about. He's one of the ones that posted in the academy. That's kind of why I started this coaching call off talking about it. One of the things that we do is when we're drilling, we tell our practice partners to give us different looks, right? Say you're drilling your single leg and your partner sprawls one rep, force you to go out the back door, a different rep, tries to funk roll you another rep, and you're just getting used to these different looks. The other thing we do is we wrestle semi-live from these positions. So there's certain positions in wrestling that are very, very important. Single leg, double leg, high crotch, front headlock, rear standing, lock, obviously top and bottom. And it's important just to get on the leg, get in these positions, like get on a single leg and just wrestle live. If you score, switch. And you just keep doing reps there because most of the scoring happens in those positions. So you really need to get on a leg and just feel exactly what you're doing wrong and how to fix it. Get in a front headlock and feel getting out of there. Feel scoring from the front headlock. Have somebody lock around your waist from behind, work on mat returning, and then the other person work on not getting mat returned. So there's the most common positions of wrestling, and the ones that matter the most, the ones that affect whether a score is going to happen, you need to put more time into those. So, situational live, a lot of wrestling rooms do that. But the best way I think to do it is if a score happens or is to stay in the position. What I mean by that is a lot of times your coaches will tell you to start in a single leg and wrestle live. And then right when or they'll do it for like 30 seconds straight. And then they'll say time and switch. But the problem is if you say ready, wrestle, I might sprawl, break away, and now we're just wrestling neutral for the rest of the 20 seconds. The point of situational wrestling is to get reps, live reps in those positions. So if I'm on a single leg and my coach says, ready, wrestle. If I score the single leg, I'm not going to wrestle on top. I'm going to let my partner get on a single leg, and we're going to wrestle again there. We're going to get as much time spent in that position developing the finish, not just switching back and forth all the time. Or my bad, not just like continuing wrestling. It's not like I see this all the time with when we do situational wrestling with leg riding. I'll tell my wrestlers, hey, throw a leg in, ready, wrestle. And if they're not a leg rider, they'll take their leg out and they'll just start wrestling regular top. So my favorite way to do situational live and wrestle in those situations is forcing my wrestlers to wrestle as much time in those positions. By every time they score, they have to switch. And every time they break free, they have to get back in on those positions. All right. Laksha said, I've been following your channel for a long while. It's been really helping me with my game. I recently started drilling and sparring with heavier guys. I started this before your advice really changed me. Love to hear it. And if you're not part of the online academy, definitely hop in that too. We answer your questions. We got a lot of great guys like Chuck in there helping the wrestlers out. And then what's the best type of grip? I think the best type of grip, these are my favorite grips. I think it depends on the situation, but normally you want to grip where your hands are gripping together. So this grip, I don't think is as good, like when you grab one hand on one wrist, because it's only as strong as one grip. But if you turn your hands into each other, you have the gable grip, you have the S grip. I think these are all great. Butterfly grip, which essentially is the same thing as a gable grip, but you come up higher. I like going like a butterfly grip. I start here, like say if I'm doing a cradle, I'll start here because it has the biggest, has the biggest range of motion. So I can lock it up first, and then I'll go to here, and then I'll shift to here, and I can even slide it lower to close the space. When I shoot a single leg, sometimes I'll be on my wrist, but ideally, especially if I have to hold the leg tight, I'm going to switch to some sort of gable grip or a butterfly grip. I'm not doing an S grip from many other positions but the cradle. Maybe if I'm extended, I might go S grip, but extended underneath on a shot. But yeah, those are the grips. Getting a little specific here, but whatever questions you guys have, I'm here to answer. I think that was answered that last week. Let me see what else we got. You guys excited for Final X? It's going to be good. How many high school guys do we have? Jax, PJ Duke. It's crazy. Rael Woods, he's coming to Iron Faith in a few weeks, the week after Final X. So I don't know, but Joey McKenna, he wrestled at the PRTC for a long time, and that's where I trained at. So he's one of I wouldn't say good friends, but I know him. S grip for extended seems to be a new trend. Yeah, I agree. Something I saw in a couple of videos. I mean, like, I don't normally get extended in the first place. Like, I don't want to be on my stomach when I shoot a single leg. I'm not going to get extended. I prefer posting with my inside arm on a single leg so that I don't get extended. But some people love keeping the lock and wrestling from a lock when their arms are extended underneath on a single leg. Okay, so we have a question from Leonardo. So I have been trying to wrestle from the open in practice. If I can't get to my inside tie, I just want some advice on what I did wrong and good. Maybe some advice on how to wrestle someone that doesn't want to tie up with you. He has a video. I'm not going to watch that right now. But advice for wrestling in the open. Wrestling in the open, it's different because you don't build up pressure. When you're wrestling in a tie-up, a lot of times you'll get to your tie-up and build up pressure so that when you go to fake or attack, they fall into you. From the open, you have to use fakes and head taps or shoulder taps to get the person. You're looking for openings from the person's reactions. And there's a lot of different options, and I'll go through a couple right now. So one, if I fake at the lead leg and he down blocks by stepping his lead leg back and exposing his opposite leg, I may fake and attack the opposite leg. If I tap him in the shoulder, right? I tap him in the shoulder, I tap him in the head, and he reaches up, his hands up to tie up or to grab my wrist, that might be another opportunity to attack. So I may tap and then hit, then attack the legs. Other things that I'll do differently from the open, you don't just want to go forwards or circle left and right. You want to use all your motion. Go backwards, circle left, circle right. You're looking for them to break their stance. You're looking for an opportunity for an opening where their hands are coming up, where they're coming out of their stance a little bit, and you can attack those legs. And I personally like doing pause fakes when shooting from the open, which is just I fake to get my opponents to react. So I keep faking on you, you keep down blocking. Then after a while, you might stop reacting, or you keep down blocking. Either way, when I see you either stop down blocking or I see a pattern in your down block, I'll fake, stay in the fake. So I'll stay low, and then I'll pretend like I'm coming back out of the fake, which will make my opponent feel less threatened. So then he starts to relax, and that's when I attack when I'm already very close to him. So a pause fake, I think, is a great option from the open. All right, so I need some advice on foot sweeps. I don't really have much problem with most of them, but I really don't understand the Dayashi Harai. Whenever I try to do it live, it doesn't seem to work well. It takes a lot of drilling. It takes a lot of drilling because the timing needs to be there. There's a drill that I have in one of my foot sweeps videos. If you go in the online academy and you go to the classroom and you go to the neutral offense, there's a foot sweep video. You can also search on YouTube, like Iron Faith Wrestling foot sweep. And there's a drill where you are standing upright with your opponent and you guys are matching steps. So you're stepping together like this, right? So if I step my right leg back, you step your left leg forward, and we kind of work on stepping almost like we're dancing. And as I do that drill, I work on timing my foot sweep, which is when I want a foot sweep as your heel rolls off the mat. So as you step backwards and your toe comes up and you step off the mat, that's when I want to come through with the sweep. So it's really a timing thing. It takes a lot of time, a lot of practice drilling the timing of it. So I would suggest watching that video and seeing the drill I'm talking about for setting up your Dayashi Harai. Have you seen a wrestler who lacked high school or college accolades? Yeah, there's one. He wrestled at the PRTC. If I can remember him. He might have even Richard. Why am I messing up? Richard Perry. Richard Perry. He wrestled for Bloomsburg, and he I don't think he All-Americaned, but he made I think second, or well, I guess I have his results right here. So I didn't All-American in D. He didn't All-American. He went D1. I think he was like a Connecticut high school state champ, so nothing too crazy. But he 5th at Olympic trials, 4th at World Team trials. He was a US Open finalist multiple times, World Team trials finalist, 3rd at Bill Farrell. So he was very high. He wrestled Kyle Dake, I think, and was very close to beating him to make one of the world teams. So that was a guy that I know of, and he wrestled at the PRTC. That's the only reason why I know him. And he's like a New England kid, which is not very often you see good wrestlers come out of New England or like that high level. How do I deal with lengthy wrestlers who grab their wrist in post? I try to clear my wrist and use it to climb up the arm and close the gap. I want to be close to people. And normally I like attacking double legs. So the biggest problem is if a tall wrestler grabs my wrist, a lot of times you'll clear it off and then you're back in the open and then he'll grab it again. And you just keep clearing and he keeps re-grabbing. You want to clear and climb up almost to a Russian tie position, like climb up the arm, up into the armpit and pull yourself into the inside tie and then start working on fighting to whatever type you like. So that's what I recommend. And there's techniques you can use when they post on your head, when they grab your wrist. I posted some shorts on techniques from wrist ties or when your opponent posts. I do have a full-length instructional in my Iron Faith Video Vault, which is like the upgraded version of my free academy. It's a wrist tie instructional if you guys are interested in that. But I think if you search Iron Faith wrist tie on YouTube, you'll find some shorts you can always look at. But if you want the full instructional, you would subscribe to the Iron Faith Video Vault. And, you get access to all my premium courses, instructional videos, private coaching calls, and so much more. All right. See what other questions we got. I got about 10 more minutes, you guys. Feel free to ask any questions you have. I do have to figure out my next video too. So I recorded a video on hand fighting, like a shorter one, just kind of some different hand fighting tips. And I'll have that done maybe next week. And then, but I got to figure out the next video after that. I haven't figured out. So I'll be posting a poll in the online academy soon to see what you guys want to see. If you have any suggestions, let me know. All right. I recently started coaching my friend about wrestling for fun and to learn wrestling better, but he gets techniques wrong multiple times, especially the low single. Any way I can help him more? I would recommend trying to break it down into some steps. So for a low single, actually, what I would first do is put him in the position. So put him with his arm wrapped around the heel, his head in the side of the knee, his correct leg up, one knee down, and just in a position ready to score. And then work on the finish. And then kind of rewind it back to the shot part. But if he knows what position he's going to end in, which is grabbing the heel, head in the side of the knee, a lot of times it's easier for him to get there when he shoots. So that's one thing. And then, we have a whole video on low singles. You can share that with them, right? Go to YouTube and type in Iron Faith low single. There's like a hour-long video on it. So, or any technique. I think, you can always share videos with him to get him to understand more. But as far as if you're in person with him, put him in the position of the shot and then have him rewind and just keep the fundamentals going. He doesn't need to worry so much about the setups. That's what I like to hear. All right. What should I focus on more? Building my 2-on-1 system or fixing weak spots like front headlock, chest to chest wrestling, and finishing singles? Just do them together. They're pretty equal. This is the system that I did to help me succeed, to bring me from, not placing at states to winning states to being ranked 12th in the country in Division I and going on and earning a full ride. It was two things. One, it was building a system, and I talk about this all the time, how to build a wrestling system. And then two, it's fixing your fundamentals, making sure that you're good at the most common positions. So what I mean by that is you're figuring out your favorite setups, your favorite shots, your favorite turns on top. That's you building your system. And you're getting in as detailed as possible. Hey, what if I go here? What should I do there? If I go Russian tie and he posts on my head, what shot should I do there? There's a lot of options, and you kind of start building it. And the second thing is like you need to be good at these common positions I talked about in the beginning of this call. The front headlock, finishing single leg, finishing high crotch, finishing double. So just start your practice off. Maybe spend half your practice, as you're drilling especially, getting reps on your 2-on-1 and dealing with the different situations. But even in those situations, you should still be sparring. You should still be trying to figure out how to score from the different positions in your Russian tie and different ways to get to that Russian tie. And then after you drill your reps of building that Russian tie system, you then spend some time in the front headlock, spend some time finishing the single, but make sure it's with some resistance so you can actually make improvements. It's not just hitting reps, you guys. It's making improvements every single day. Seeing what things you're making mistakes on. If you guys didn't see my last video, I feel like I explained it pretty well. What I would do if I started wrestling all over again. But yeah, I'd say it's pretty equal. Building a system and then getting good at those common positions that you're struggling in. Is the best way to deal with someone with a heavy, tight collar to snap down and fake? If he's heavy on it, there's a lot of ways to clear collar ties. You can do elbow pass. You can over tie and snap them off. You can slide them by. So there's a lot of options from the collar tie. And that's the thing with building that system is you have so many options from these different things. But figure out what makes sense for you, right? Like I'll give you an example of how I may help you. The nice thing with the Iron Faith Video Vault, if you guys ever upgrade, we do private coaching calls on there and monthly seminars. So I can kind of get more detailed face-to-face with you guys and figure out, exactly what would make sense for these options I'm talking about. But Max is talking about getting out of a collar tie. Okay, how do I deal with that? You could elbow pass, high crotch. You could elbow pass, low single. You could snap it off, get to your own collar tie, and attack an ankle pick. You could slide by off the collar tie. You could over tie, snap, and hit an attack. So there's so many options, but think, Max, what do you already do? Do you like a certain tie? Do you like a Russian? Do you like an inside? Do you like a certain attack? Do you like a high crotch? Do you like a low single? And based on your general things you're already good at, you can force a position from that collar tie. Like who was Max or Mix MW is saying he's working on the 2-on-1 system. Well, when people collar tie him, he's probably going Russian tie and then hitting his 2-on-1, Russian tie series. So that's kind of the idea, you guys. There's unlimited options, but start figuring out what you like and picking and choosing the options you're going to do, getting reps there, doing it live, and figuring it out. Okay. For Max, I snap to underhook or front headlock. Yeah. Somebody collar ties you, you could thumb block him, clear it off, dig an underhook. Right? Somebody collar ties you, you could roll it off, dig your underhook there. So your solution is your solution to a lot of these problems, you got to put it back into what your guys' systems are and make sure you're answering it with respect to that. So if you like the underhooks, okay, how do you get from their collar tie to your underhook? Another way to get to an underhook when they have a collar tie, punch, dig an underhook. I have a whole video on something like 8 tips for an underhook or something like that. If you type in Iron Faith Wrestling underhook, that video will come up. And it will show you ways to get to the underhook from the different tie-ups. All right. Or you can go, if you like front headlock, you can do over tie snap downs or thumb block and snap with a collar tie on the opposite side and clearing the wrist. I know it's a lot of information, but just keep trying to figure it out. Figure out exactly, what techniques you want to choose. And if any of you guys, like I said earlier, want to get it more laid out and you want kind of exactly my opinion on which ones to pick, feel free to join the Iron Faith Academy and you can upgrade to the Iron Faith Video Vault and we can get your system all figured out. So we got any other questions? We can call it for the day. We can, we'll see you guys next week. But let's see if you guys have any other questions. Feel free to ask. Let's see what other things we got in the academy. All right. No problem, Chuck. Let's see what other things we got. And if you guys are still struggling with bottom, I guess it's more of a side note. Make sure you guys watch that bottom video I made. I've been really working my guys with bottom lately because I think bottom is like the easiest position. You guys just need to have the right mindset with it and make sure you're strong because strength does matter. But yeah, that's all I got from you guys today. Feel free to join me next Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here to answer your questions, and I'll see you guys throughout the week inside the academy. And thank you, Mix MW. Appreciate it.